Ladies and gentlemen, very good evening and a warm welcome to you on this Tuesday or Wednesday evening to the Red and Blue Review. My name is Nick Philpott, and before the panel join me, I want to kick off the show, if you don't mind, with our sincere apologies to something that happened on Sunday night, okay? I do apologise. It was very... we were all sitting here, we were ready to go. Big Jim was there and Yas was there and Fergus. We were all sitting here waiting for it to start. And our producer, who on the night happened to be our Greg Ellis, was putting the children to bed. And when he put the children to bed, he fell asleep as well. And he missed the beginning, or obviously he missed the producing the show. And he was absolutely mortified. He sends his sincere apologies. Nigel, bring the other guys up, please, mate. And he sends his sincere apologies. He was absolutely gutted. Yaz, how long did we sit there for? Half an hour?
Half an hour, yeah.
How embarrassing that! And he was honest enough to put in our chat that he'd fallen asleep with the children. So, mate, we forgive you. You've never done it before. I'm sure you never have. I said it was technical issues, but it wasn't really technical issues. It was something as obvious as that. Anyway, Yasmin Broom, good evening. How are you?
Evening, Nick. I'm fine, thank you.
Good stuff. I noticed we've brought your hero back again. Our hero, our record appearance holder. Not Fergus, Tid. It's Jim Cannon. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Jim Cannon. Good evening, mate.
Good evening. I suppose Greg missed it because he was bored with you.
See, we're not even... We're just 2 minutes and 16 seconds into the show, and you're giving me a hard time, only because of what I said to you at the end of the last show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't watch the last 10 seconds of last week's show, please get onto YouTube, call it back and have a look, because he was on... JC was on top form that night, and I went off air chuckling, and he really made me laugh. Fergus, Tid, where the bloody hell have you been?
Yeah. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, it's good to be back on the show. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been too long.
Wasn't too well, but yeah, all good now. Thanks.
Good. I'm glad to have you back, mate. It's been too long. There's lots of people joining us. I'll get to you all in a minute. And sitting in the middle of the screen up top there is our producer, Nigel. Nigel, good. Welcome back on.
Good evening.
How you doing, man? It's been far too long.
Wow, I don't know. It's not that long, is it?
Well, since you've been on.
Oh no, I'm talking since I've seen you.
Oh no, not since. Unfortunately, I saw you on Saturday. Bring the mug shot back up again. So in that picture, go through the running order of who's there, Nigel.
Right, there's yourself.
I've got that.
Paul Bristow is front right. George Agro is next between me and Paul, and that's Andrew Adams sitting above your head.
Lots of people that contribute to the Red and Blue Review. Boys, good evening. I can see a couple of you are out in the chat as well. I hope you're all well, and it's great to see you in the sunshine. And also,
as we came out of the fan zone, we bumped into this gentleman, and I've asked him, and he says he will be back on shortly. We've just got to get Lord Noble to do the deed.
Actually, Jim, do you see Salad every week?
Yeah.
Kick his arse, will you? He'd
probably want a fee.
He probably would. Well, it's not as big as yours, I hope. So, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking over the review from the Ipswich game. I know it's a little bit of distant history now, but we're going to. Yazzy's going to come through all of it. I'll be honest with you, guys and girls. And it's just as well we didn't do Sunday night show, because I don't know about you, but I was a little bit. I know we got the 3 points. I'm delighted with the win. We've been playing very well recently, but the overall performance of the game on Saturday, it wasn't our best performance of the season, Jim, was it?
Probably typical of our home form, and probably the fact that Ipswich are in the bottom three, we just managed to nick a result. I mean, it might have been different if Eddie, and I'm sure Yasmin will talk about it, if Eddie had have put that one in early doors. But I thought, looking at it, a draw would have probably been a fairer result for Ipswich. But we'll take the 3 points because it's happened to us plenty of times.
Absolutely. I mean, Ferg, I would say that, was it not for Henderson's 2 or 3 very good saves that Yaz will cover in a minute? I think we got away with one there, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sarr got man of the match for his goal and clearance off the line, but yeah, Hendo definitely kept us in the game. Yeah, he's probably joint man of the match.
And Nigel, you were back at Selhurst Park on Saturday, which hence the reason why you're on screen. What was it like to come home again?
Oh, it's great to be back. So, last match I was at was the Tottenham one at Selhurst, and my record is I haven't seen Palace lose live under Glasner.
You've not seen Palace lose under Glasner, no? Well, let's hope it stays that way. Okay, I'm going to say a few good evenings as well. William, I can see you out there. Joan, Mark, Chloe, I know you're out there, my darling. Somebody called the Dog is out there. I don't know who you are, Dog. Put it in your chat. Let me know who you are. Mark Callaghan's out there. Chloe, I've done. There's quite a few people out there. Benny, I can see you out there as well. Good evening to each and every one of you, wherever you're watching in the world. If you are listening back on the podcast sometime tomorrow or over the next few days, apologies once again for Sunday. Great to have you listening in. And we're going to kick off, if you don't mind, Yasmin. Start off with what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll do. So the lineup, we had 2 enforced changes, which was Eddie in for JP and Lerma in for Hughes, because Hughes was serving his 2-match ban for picking up 10 yellows. So as Jim just said, the first chance came really early on when Adam Wharton put a great pass through to Eddie, but it was saved by the keeper. And I just wondered if you all thought that Eddie should have probably done better there with that chance.
Right. I'm going to take that to start with, Yaz, and I'll hand over to the boys. First of all, Thomas Tuchel was in the ground watching what we understand to be 4 players, 4 Palace players for the upcoming home fixtures World Cup qualifiers. That one ball played from the outside of his foot into Nketiah's path was just something to dream of. Jim, in terms of professional football, what sort of quality was that ball?
I mean, we've all seen over the months and last year how good this young lad is. Bear in mind, nobody knew nothing about him before he come here. Well, certainly not the Palace fans. He wasn't somebody that was highlighted, and some Dougie Friedman just plucked him out of nowhere, obviously. But the boy's got unbelievable quality, and that pass you can only make. It's not so much the pass; it's the way he opened himself up to let the ball run past him. Took one player out of the game without doing anything, and then he can pick a pass. I mean, it's just a shame that the centre forward hasn't got the same ability as somebody like Adam Wharton, because the finish was pretty pathetic.
Yeah, on that subject then, Ferg, I mean, because Jim raises a good point there. Is that of a striker that's out of form, or, I don't know, are we being too hard on him?
No, I just think he's not had a lot of opportunities, and when he's come on, it's only been like for a bit part in it, 5-10 minutes, and it's early in the game. And you've got to give their keeper credit, really. He come off his line really quick. Yes, he probably should have finished it. And I reckon if he had done, we might have scored a few more. He might have even got a hat-trick or something. But, it was unfortunate. It was a bad miss, but I think it was a good save at the same time. So, yeah, I don't want to be down on him too much.
Yeah, before I hand back to you, Joan Wells is saying in the chat, I hope you don't have to sell Wharton. Well, if you listen to people like Dan Cook on HLTCO and stuff like that, he's saying that we will probably lose 2 of our players in the summer and sort of raise some cash. Mark Gee is obviously going to be one of them because he's showing no signs of signing a new contract, so he will go, and another player. But one player that it won't be, for the reason of he's under a 4-year contract, and he's Adam Wharton. Nigel, we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot if we were to sell him, wouldn't we? And if we did sell him, it would be over 100 million, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's got the opening offers have got to be 90 million at least, and I don't think any of the big boys have got the money to do that these days. Man City possibly, but the only way I think he could go to Man City, it's going back to the Northwest. I think he's still a very family-orientated guy, and Man City might sort of pull his heartstrings a bit to get him back close to Blackburn.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt. We're going to keep doing that throughout your little presentation. I do apologise.
Okay. No, that's fine. So Ipswich also had some good chances. I think one of them was Philogene, something like that, and that Lemon NC. So he got on my nerves a bit during that match. I thought that Eze had a couple of good chances as well to put us ahead. But one thing we noticed that happened to Eze, which was really unfortunate, is that he lost the ball a couple of times. And one of them was where that Enciso then had a chance, but luckily Dino saved it. Just wondering what can be done about that aspect of his game, because it's when he's got it going forward and he's doing his clever tricks and stuff, which we all love, but when they go wrong, they can sometimes go horribly wrong.
Ferg, pick up on that, will you? Because again, a good point raised.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you're probably right. Yes, I think he had a slow start, certainly first half. Second, I mean, when you look at the chances that we had 19 attempts or something, but I think Ebbs probably had 5 or 6 of them on his own. He certainly grew into the game, and I think overall he's improved. He's improved since Walton's been back in the side, because I think all the pressure was on him at the time when Walton was out injured, and now he's got that freedom again. But yeah, we just have to give him time, I guess. He's improving every game, but yeah, I don't know. Again, I want to try and be positive. I think, it wasn't a great game on Saturday, but I don't think any player was outstanding.
Yeah, I agree with that. I make you right, because even people like Lacroix wasn't great. I didn't think Lacroix was very good on Saturday. Walton, if I'm honest with you, had quite a game by his standards. As Yaz. Go on, mate.
I was going to say that pass that Yaz mentioned earlier. I think Kieran McKenna was quite clever, because he saw that was early on, and you could see him shouting at his midfielders, shutting down. I think that's why Walton sort of drifted in and out of the game, because they were a lot tighter on him than they probably would have been, because they realised what damage he could cause. So that's probably a reason why he was a little bit quiet or quieter.
Go on, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought the same as you thought, that none of the players really stood out for me, really, apart from Dino, because he made those saves. And it just seemed like our passing was really off, like we couldn't string passes together. But I don't know if it's because I think we raise our game for the bigger sides, and we seem to struggle a bit with the ones that are lower down. And I don't know why that is, but that's what I think happened. So yeah, we went in 0-0 at half time, and then for the second half, Ipswich came out a lot brighter than us, I thought, because we always expect to have all the action down the Homestyle end for the second half, and it started off a lot down the other end, and we conceded a corner, which led to a free kick and a chance by Davis. So there was also chances for Sarr, who had a header, and Munoz. And then there was one point where Ipswich had a chance, and our complete area looked in disarray. Like, everybody didn't seem to know what they were doing at all. But luckily, Dino saved it and it was cleared. So we made 2 substitutions on 72 minutes, and that was Kamada for Eddie, and they call him Chili, so I do it sarcastically, but Chilwell for Tyrick Mitchell. And then came what led to our goal, because I don't think that much really happened in the game. Dermot, who sits in front of me, said, "This is the worst game I've ever seen." And so I don't think he was wrong. There was a bit of a point to be debated. So Kamada had the ball, and the debate is whether he assisted Sarr or whether it went off the defender through to Sarr for him to score. So Glasner said in his interview that Kamada got the assist, but is that because he's just, well, we know he likes him because that's why he brought him in, but also to try and boost his confidence. What do you think, guys?
Right, good. I'm glad you asked because I was going to stop you there anyway. Jim, that touch from Kamada, did he backheel it through to Sarr or did he just bounce off another defender? Your thoughts?
Well, from where I was, it just looked like a deflection that went into the path of Sarr. But going back to players playing well, I thought Sarr was excellent the whole game. The way he carries the ball from his own 18-yard box right up. I wish Eze would do that. Eze gets the ball, stops, turns around, comes back, slows everything down. Sarr was excellent, and the finish was unbelievable because that was really tight on the goalkeeper. But personally, it looked like a deflection that ended up in his path, which was brilliant for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And would I be right in saying that was a tactical move by the manager at half time to make Sarr more central and ended up with the goal? Nigel, is that right? You're on mute, you donut.
Yeah, that was my thought. It sort of definitely moved things around. But I think a lot of our problem Saturday was Ipswich wanted to chase every ball going.
Yeah.
And I think normally the teams we play against, they're sort of happy to give us that little bit of space to run onto. And Ipswich just absolutely hounded us every time we got the ball. Now, that's why I think we weren't firing on all cylinders.
I think you've got to give Glasner credit though, because he took Nketiah off, didn't he? Who's our striker, and he put Sarr up front, and then put Kamada on. And I know the jury's out with Kamada, but we never looked like scoring, did we? And then he's made those changes, put Sarr up front, and we just looked a lot more dangerous. He's got that pace, like Jim was saying. He gets the ball, he puts his head down, and he's off, and it terrifies defenders. Eze gets the ball, and it, like Jim said, he slows it down, and it gives the defenders time to reset. And then by the time we're attacking, we're up against a bank of 4 or 5 again, where Sarr doesn't give them that opportunity. And it was a brilliant finish. I don't think it was an assist by Kamada. He was involved in the build-up, as he was against Villa, so he is contributing. But I think I don't think he got an assist on fantasy football either, did he? I think it was just a Sarr goal. So,
what about can I ask you guys before Yaz carries on? How did Lerma play on Saturday? And the reason I'm asking you, there's a conversation going on in the chat right now, and I'm going to read it out to you. Animal says, that's his name. Animal says, if we want to break down the low block, I feel that we need a better passing ability than Lerma can provide. And Mark Callaghan agrees with him. Lerma is a bit of a water carrier. Ferg, how do you think Lerma played Saturday?
He didn't have a great game. I'll be honest. It was probably one of our. they were all kind of average, weren't they? But Lerma stood out. But I think Lerma was on the park because of his physical presence, because he's good at defending. And that's probably why he stayed on the park a little bit longer than he did, because he didn't have a great game. But if Hughes was not suspended, he'd have played, wouldn't he? Lerma wouldn't have.
I think it's safe to say, everyone, that we miss Hughes. Okay, we miss Hughes in the middle of the park, and we obviously miss Mateta up top, which we'll come on to in a minute. Okay, yes, carry on, my lovey.
Okay, so then went to the goal celebration, which I think was a really nice touch by Sarr, and he kicked the corner flag for Mateta. So there he is, and it was a little bit of a shock at first, but then we were like all up for it. So that was a really nice thing to do.
So was that? Do you reckon that was pre-planned, Yaz, or do you think that was spur of the moment?
Well, I feel like it was pre-planned, but I don't know. What do you think,
boys?
Pre-planned.
Yeah, I think if someone was going to score, they all agreed that they'd kick the corner flag. So, yeah, just something to be Sarr.
Yeah.
Keep going, yes.
Okay. So then we did make 2 more substitutions. We brought on Devaney for Wharton, and then with like about 2 minutes to go, we brought on Esse for Eze. Some of my friends were saying, I think it was actually Lord Noble, as you call him, he was asking for a 3-word summary of the game or something. And people were saying barely deserved win or a fortunate win. And I think they're probably right, because to give credit to Ipswich, they weren't terrible, you know. I mean, we weren't great, but I felt that it could have been a draw and that would have been a fair result.
And I made that about right, really. It was one of those games we had to get off. Yeah, go on, Ferg.
No, I was just going to say on the back of that, and I'm sure we all do it, the day before you're going on holiday at work, it's like, I don't need to be here. Why am I here? I'm going away tomorrow. And it felt a little bit like that on Saturday, because they all knew they were flying out to Spain the next day. So it was almost like, well, it's Ipswich, we're going to win. We don't need to put 100% in. I'm not saying they were like that, but you know, it's in your DNA, isn't it? The day before you go on holiday,
That's certainly how it felt.
You never give 100%, never. So,
are you done there? Yes.
I don't think Palace going to Spain to play and train is like your type of holiday.
No, probably not. Do you know what type of holiday I go on?
Maybe a bit more involved in that.
Right. Okay, JC, on that subject then, did you ever have any away trips like that? Any training camps away? And I don't mean at Sutton and Wreck either.
Yeah, we were always, every season we would go to, used to always go to Sweden, pre-season camps, and play 3 or 4 games over there. Yeah, we were always traveling. Italy a few times. Yeah, it's always been done. It's just wasn't highlighted probably so much in our day.
Right. And Joan said in the chat she can't believe that we've gone away for 3 weeks. Well, Joan, just cast your mind back to last season. It was because we did go away. We came back in a rich vein of form and ended up having a good run in to the end of the season. Well, looking at the fixtures that are coming up, we're going to need that good run in this season as well. Although they'll be obviously more or less safe now. Have you finished there, Yaz?
Well, I just had a couple of things. So, first of all, I think it's important that when you're having a run like ours, that you do win. You win even when you don't play well, and that can make the difference out of the teams that get higher up the table. So, I think we've got to look at the positive. Although we all agree it was a pretty rubbish game, the most important thing was that we still came out of it with 3 points. And I did want to mention Dino, because he had a great game compared to everyone else. Obviously, I think he's in contention for the Golden Glove behind. Well, there's Sells and Raya, isn't there, up there with him? I just think that he, especially with Tuchel there, he could have the chance of taking that number 1 spot from Pickford. Thank you. Yeah.
There you go.
So, yeah, he's really close up, especially with Raya, and their defence is rubbish. So, yeah, I think he's got a good chance of that. What do you think?
So, I think he's had a very good season. Better in mind, he was behind Johnson last season, and I think he's really come into his own. He seems to be more commanding of his box. His distribution is not as bad as well, put it this way, I think as bad as people perceived it to be when he first joined us. I think he's quite a talented goalkeeper. The only thing that slightly bothers me is his stature. He's not a particularly big guy. He's just around 6 foot mark. I don't know. Anybody else got any thoughts on the goalkeeper?
Well, I've always moaned about him a little bit because I always felt that he stayed on his line. But the last 5 or 6 games I've seen him, he's got things. I think he's more happy with if somebody like Lacroix and Mateta defending from corners. So it takes a little bit of pressure off him, because up until them two sort of playing regular, we weren't the biggest side at the back. But he definitely. I think he's just full of confidence. He makes saves when he has to make saves, and he comes and gets. And there was a few times he come and punch balls, real good punches last week. And I think, and he's got a great chance of. Well, he should be in the England squad if nothing else. But he's got a good chance of getting a game.
So who are the 4 players? I've got Hendo, Wharton, Eze. Who is the 4th player?
Mark.
Of course, Geethy. I mean, so do you think for these upcoming fixtures, George says he's about 6'4". George, I don't think so, mate. I think you're well off the mark. Do you think all 4 of those could get picked this week? Yes.
Well, I wouldn't pick Eze. I don't think he's done anything we warrant. Wharton, yeah, probably. I mean, maybe injury and lack of games, mate. But I think he'll get in. I think the keeper will get in, and obviously Gay's just a nailed-on starter, isn't he?
He's a shoo-in, yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
And you don't think, Nigel, you don't think Eze get picked?
No, I still think he's got problems with his foot. Somebody said in the chat earlier, I think it was Dawn.
Yeah.
She saw him taking his boot off and rubbing his foot during the game on Saturday. So give him 3 weeks off, let him rest.
So that would be quite a coup for a little Crystal Palace gym, wouldn't it, to have Hendo, Wharton and Mark in the England lineup? Little Crystal Palace supplying 3 of the players?
Well, as long as they come back fit.
Just to get 3 of them in, be great, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah, as Nigel says, we don't want any of them getting injured, though. That's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, and Jim, while you're there, Jim, I've got another question for you. Are the bottom three? Do you think it's Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton?
Yes. Yeah.
No chance.
Yeah, having watched Wolves, they look a decent side. They've got lots of pace, lots of good players, and they look as if they can score goals. Ipswich's problem is you can't see them scoring too many goals. Like the lads have already said, such a hard-working side. Never gave us a minute on Saturday. They looked like a real top championship side. And unfortunately, I think that's where they're going to end up.
Yeah, so that it makes a little bit of the mockery. I mean, I've got these thoughts going through my head. Yeah, most of them aren't sane. We all know that before any of you, especially you, can say it. But it's last year it was 3 up, the same 3 down. This year it's same 3 up, 3 down. Is there a gulf developing between the Championship and the Premier League, Ferg?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think the teams that stay up quite regular, even though it's still hard for them, have got that little bit more experience and better players that are playing more regular in the Premier. When you come up straight up, even teams that went down last year, they come up. It's not the same intensity as you're playing week in, week out in the Premier League. So it is difficult for them, very difficult.
I watched a couple of the Ipswich podcasts after the game, and they were talking about whether they're too honest. You know, if you've got that guile and that experience in the Premier League, that could make all the difference. You know, they're talking about should such and such go down for a penalty in the box. You know, other players do it, we don't. And I think they all agreed they needed to. But I think that's you know, they deserved a point on Saturday against us. They played really, really well, shut us down. I think it was just that Premier League experience was the difference on the day.
Yeah. I'm looking at the table now as I'm talking to you guys, okay? And it's refreshing to see it's not Crystal Palace 12th, it's Crystal Palace 11th. But what really makes me laugh, and it's a shame that you guys are all thinking that the bottom 3 are the bottom 3, because Ipswich in 18th place, okay? Literally 3 places above them are Man United. What a joy that is to see them languishing in 15th, and better than that, West Ham down in 16th. It's just stuff you love. It's shithouser. It's best. Speaking after the game, Oliver Glasner spoke to Premier League Productions and said Palace's victory against Ipswich, it was an amazing goal from Sarr, and we took the win. We were really proud. It's a 3rd win in a row in the Premier League. It's a tough thing for any team to do, but these guys did it. It's a great statement. Jim, you alluded to it earlier on. They are playing extremely well at the moment, mate. Rich vein of form. Has this break come at the wrong time?
No, not really. Especially with JP out injured. Wharton gives him a chance. If Eze's got an injury, gives him a chance, even though he might be with the England squad. But no, I think a nice little break. we've come off a great run, and I don't think it's going to do. It'll refresh us, I think. I mean, we didn't play that well, but I think Yasmin said it's nice. You hear the top teams that win leagues say they didn't play well, but they got the job done, and that's what we did on Saturday. So,
yeah, dirty. Yeah, I'll get it right. And for a dirty win, though, we'll take that all day long, won't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all about the points.
It's all about the points.
It's like get a good rest, because when you look at the fixtures when we come back, we've got Man City on the Saturday, up here to Newcastle on the Wednesday, and we've got another home match back on the following Saturday. So the matches are starting to sort of pile in during April. So I think it'll do the players the world of good just to have a little bit of a rest.
We should have invited John Burridge on for this one, because I'm about to tell everybody, in case you're not aware out in YouTube land, of a change to the rules next season. Now, some of you, especially the younger viewers, might not be aware that we've actually had the 6-second rule in football for years and years and years. This is where the goalkeeper wasn't supposed to hold on to the ball for more than 6 seconds. Well, next year for the 25-26 season, the goalkeeper rule change is as follows. The amendment means that if a goalkeeper holds onto the ball for longer than 8 seconds, with a referee using a visual 5-second countdown, the referee will award a corner to the opposing team, rather than the current indirect free kick inside the current 6-second law. A 6-second law that's never, I can't remember. Jim, when was the last time you saw a referee blow up for the 6-second rule?
Don't know, long time ago. But what I hope that they implement, because the modern day goalkeeper gets the ball, falls down on his hands and knees, and then slowly gets up. I hope that 8 seconds is taken from the minute the keeper's got it. Because how many keepers catch it now and then just fall down onto their knees? Yeah. All of them do it. Yeah. And that's got to be 3 or 4 seconds. So they should say, the minute it's in your arms, that's when we start. So they can't then get down and then come back up slowly and have a look round. So, but it's never worked before, so I can't see it. I can't see it.
Well, I reckon it's been tried in 400 matches, and only 4 times has a corner been awarded. I've heard it, but not read it. Premier League 2, they've used it in that this season.
And the other thing I've heard, I mean, they're talking about the referee doing a verbal countdown in his head, okay? But there's also talk, although it's not been confirmed yet, that the VAR may also get involved in it. And if VAR do get involved in it, then they have the ability to call the ref up, so you need to have a look at it and award a corner. Whether that actually comes in or not, I don't know. Gel's saying, Nick, has the 6-second rule... Oh, Joe was in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Holio. Good to talk to you. Did you read what he wrote in the chat about the 6-second rule and my wife? Did you read that, guys? If you haven't seen it, have a look. Yeah. And I'm not going to give him airtime to say Brad, but that was quite amusing. Joe, I didn't realise you had a sense of humour. So yes, are we done on the game?
Yes, we are done on the game.
Right. So we're sitting on. We're currently in 11th place on 39 points. Okay, where are we going to finish, team? So we have 10 games left, and in my head we got 6 away. Bearing in mind we are playing, and I'm talking to you out in the chat as well. Where are we going to finish? We got 6 games away, 4 games at home. Nigel, have you got a list of fixtures coming up?
I've got the next 6.
Ferg, didn't you have them?
Yeah, could you? Yeah. Have you got that one I sent you, Nigel?
No, that one was too big. Yeah, if you just go through it.
Right. I was going to say
Go on,
no, I was going to say that I sent you another one later, but if you can't, that's fine.
All right.
Now the last 10 games. So we got Southampton away, Falmouth FC at home, Man City away, Newcastle away, Bournemouth home. Arsenal away, but that is the semi-final of the FA Cup, so we're obviously going to miss that because we'll be at Wembley.
Yeah.
Then we've got Forest at home, Spurs away, Wolves at home, Liverpool away. So we're playing 7 of the top 10. So difficult running, but I went through the results from last season and the last 3 years we played them. Now, obviously, there's some anomalies because you've got Southampton in there and there's a few teams gone up and down. But if we played all those games like we did last season, we'll come out with about 12 points. So 12 points will put us on 51. So it'll be our highest points tally, but it's not going to get us anywhere near Europe. It depends how far those European places drop down, and they could drop down quite considerably. I mean, it could come down to.
Now we had this conversation pre-show, and I told you it won't matter because we'll be in Europe because we would have won the cup.
Yeah, well, exactly, but
yeah,
just in case.
So funny you should say that, Nick. When we were at Sellers Station, we were waiting for the train. We had this precise conversation, trying to decide whether we're more likely to get in Europe through the cup or through the league. And it was actually like we thought we were in a parallel universe, that we're actually standing there talking about that seriously. But I think we've got a good chance in the cup, that's for sure. And even in the league, we're second only to Liverpool in the last 10 games in the Premier League table. So we've got a really good chance. And as I say, Liverpool will be on the beach when we play them, so that should be 3 points. And all the other teams, apart from Arsenal, we've beaten them. So I'm trying to be upbeat, plan my European tour.
I love your positivity, Jim.
I did last season, and it came out at 12 points. I did the last 3 seasons, and it came out at 12.5 points. That's what we'll average against all the teams that we play. So we're going to have to up our game. That's a negative. On the positive side, in our last 10 games, like Yasmin said, we're the second best, only to Liverpool, 22 points. Now, if we continue that form into the last 10 games, you know, we're definitely banging on the door for Europe. I mean, that'd be an amazing running. We're just going to have to turn some of those fixtures around that we never seem to be able to get any points at. Arsenal away. You know, we very rarely win in the league. Tottenham, I don't think we've won away at all since 1990 something. So Newcastle away is always a difficult one. You know, but I'm not saying we can't turn those fixtures around. Liverpool away, hopefully they'll have won the league by then. They'll be partying. We like going up there and spoiling their parties.
We've got a party to gate crash that day, haven't we?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Jim, I've got a question for you from the chat, and it's from Mark Callahan. Good evening, Mark. I hope you're well, buddy. Jim, do you think the strikers might, going back to the 6-second rule thing, do you think the strikers might hassle the keeper more to force the 6-second rule?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. They'll take up their positions on the edge of the box because they'll be looking round them. The keeper's not somebody that they want to go and block. They want to be blocking the defenders that try to get the ball. So I couldn't see it. No.
Okay, and you alluded to something earlier on. Okay, and I'm going to come on to it now. Ismaili Sarr. What a difference in that player. So the question is, £13 million, great piece of business for Ismaili Sarr. He's still only 27. He's now got 8 goals and 3 assists in this season, including the huge brace against Brighton. Capable of playing, as we saw at the weekend, either on the wing or up top. He's become an absolutely pivotal player in Glasner's system, has he not, Jim?
Oh yeah, without doubt. You know, like his first few games, he took a while to get going. And bear in mind, we probably weren't playing the way we've been playing now. And but he just looks, even when he gets the ball sort of 10 yards outside our box, and he's got space in front of him, he just goes and he carries it into dangerous areas. And he looks sharp. He's in the box. He's somebody, you know, lots of players up front. And Ketia probably wants to come and get the ball, where Sarr is happier probably running onto the ball. And that's a great asset to have for players that want to get in behind back fours. So he's probably been, I mean, apart from Hughesy, he's probably been our most consistent player over the last half a dozen games.
Nigel, your thoughts on the Sarr? You saw him in the flesh, haven't you?
Yeah, I've always previously I always thought he was a poor man's Zaha when he was at Watford, and I thought, are we buying the right player? But the more I've seen of him this season, I think we've found a diamond.
Yes, you're never going to fill the Michael Elise hole, are you? But what we got in Ismaila Sarr.
Well, I agree. He started off really slow, and I wasn't really sure about what we brought, but he's doing really, really well. But I think one of the people we have to thank for that is our manager. He seems to be able to bring out the best in all these players with whatever he's doing. So I hope he keeps on doing it.
Okay, Ferg, I'll leave you to have the last word on Sarr.
Yeah, no, I think he's, he played a big part, didn't he, at the beginning when he came in? But since he had that run in the side, he's been fantastic. It's probably definitely one of our best players. And it's good to have him in the side because he's quite, he can play on that wing and he can play up front, as he's proven for the last 15 minutes against Ipswich, and he can score.
And the other player that we haven't mentioned all evening, of course, is, and Mark just mentioned it in the chat, okay, Sarr being one of the bargains of the season. The other one, of course, is Munoz. What a player that's turned out to be. You waving at me, Jim?
No, there's a little fly passing over there. Try to get it.
Oh, you must have opened your wallet.
Yeah.
Are you, Jimbo, going to do the Fulham trip?
I'm hoping to go, but I'm not doing the boat. No,
we're not doing the boat, mate. You're okay. I'm not asking you to come on the boat. We're not doing the boat. We were going to do the boat, okay, but they moved the kickoff to 12:15, so the boat got cancelled. So we're not doing it. And Animal is asking the question in the chat: do we sign Turner permanently? Matt Turner. Any thoughts on him? Have you seen enough of him to warrant a? Go on, Ferg.
I think so. Yeah, because I mean, with the Johnson Henderson situation, they were playing off against each other, and it was just chaos, wasn't it? It was split 50-50. Which keeper fell in whatever camp, and I think Turner is a decent second choice keeper, isn't he? So, and why not? And it'd be cheap as well, I would imagine. So, yeah, I'd
and I'm
sign
sure, just alluding back to the Fulham game, in case you're not aware, anybody listening to this or watching this, and you are making your way over to Craven Cottage, and I will be there. Our friends in black are asking. There's an irony here. Our friends dressed in black in the middle of the homestyle are asking us to turn the away end red and blue. So colours for everybody, streamers, banners, anything you like, scarves, the whole works. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen that press release they put out. I'm not going to give it any airtime, and I don't intend to. But it would be nice to make the away end nice and colourful. Let's say, and not black. Okay, go on, Yaz.
Sorry,
if you can get it in.
Yeah. Just one thing about Turner. Do you think he will play in the Fulham match or not? Because he has been our cup goalkeeper.
Yeah, what a shout! What a question that is! What a question! Which is all, guys. I think the answer is yes. But go on, Ferg.
I think yes, he would play. If I had the choice, I'd play Hendo all day long. But I think if he's but then what do you do when you get to the cup final? You've got to play your best side, haven't you? So.
And that is my question to Jim. Jim, can you play your number 2 goalkeeper right the way through all the qualifying rounds, get to Wembley, either in the semi-final or the cup final, and then change goalkeepers? Can you do it?
Well, you can do it, but
would you do it?
It's not something I'd do. If you're going to play a guy in every cup game and he's done well, why not? But Glasner's always played his best side, but then he played him against sort of Millwall, so he made a couple of changes there. Maybe as he gets a bit closer to the final, he might sort of think differently. He's done all right. What I've seen, I don't know enough about him, but he's done all right. He looked okay against Millwall. So, yeah, but it's a difficult one, isn't it? You know, like you want to be fair to a player that's maybe played 4 or 5 rounds. But at the same time, as Fergus said, you want to win the cup, so you might want to put out the best team you can. That's luckily we don't have to make that decision. That's down to Oliver Glasner, isn't it?
And we're coming on to him in a minute. Quickly on to other teams since our last show. The under-21s haven't played. The under-18s on Saturday, the 8th of March, Premier League at Crystal Palace's training ground. They ran out a very credible 3-1 winners against West Ham. The women, who are obviously having a dire season, it has to be said, they are coming back down again. There is no way back from this, I don't believe. On Sunday, the 9th of March, the women played FA Cup against Kingsmeadow against Chelsea women. Bear in mind, Chelsea are the champions, or the current champions. And I saw a lot of that game. I was watching it on Palace Player, and it was actually, they played very well. And sadly, they went down 1-0. They lost 1-0, but they actually played very well. Up next for the ladies, on again at the VBS Community Stadium in Sutton, Sunday the 16th, 2 o'clock kickoff. They're at home to Villa. So bear in mind, we haven't got a game. It'd be worth your while getting yourself down to Sutton to have a look at that. Okay. Other news from around the club. Great to see in Spain. The Palace put out a big, long video. I think it was an 8-minute video of the guys training in Spain, and you could see even on the training pitch, you could see the formation. But thank you, Nigel. You're one step ahead of me. What was really refreshing to see was our friend there, the Eric the Ninja Turtle there. Eric the Ninja ×2 with his headband, looking fighting fit. He's an integral part of the squad, clearly, and he's an integral. I mean, he brings such character. Great to see Mateta. Although he's training away from the first team, he's training on his own, but he's just doing fitness training while he's out there. That was a horrific injury. Jim, I don't think we've spoken to you since that happened. That was a horrific challenge, wasn't it?
Yeah, reckless is the word I would use. You know, but what was more reckless was Oliver. The referee, Oliver, Michael, what's his name?
Michael Oliver, yeah.
Michael Oliver didn't do nothing until VAR. He didn't even bring out a yellow. He didn't stop the game. I didn't under that was reckless. He should have been banned for 6 games for missing that. Because that if that had have hit the player smack in the face, we might not have seen him play again. Because that could have taken his eye. It could have done all sorts of damage. And luckily, he just turned his head. And the player gets 6-game ban. He only plays in the cup game. So in theory, he might not play for another 6 seasons if they get knocked out early doors. Like
I never thought of that. So
yeah, 6-game ban. If they get knocked out in the first round for the next 5 years, he don't play, does he?
I've never looked at about on that. I mean, and there's been so much hatred on there on social media from the Millwall fans. It's just, I know you don't look at social media, Jim, but it is a toxic place to live. And I'm glad I only dip in and dip out just for the research on the show. The other bit,
go on. That's right. I was going to say, Michael Oliver, he was omitted from the Premier League, wasn't he, last weekend? But I think he referees in the Champions League this week. Yeah. And that's why they were saying, he's not refereeing the Premier League because he's doing Champions League. But I don't believe that.
He's not an official this weekend either, unless he's VAR somewhere.
Head injury, you stop the game straight away, don't you? Straight away. Doesn't matter about anything else after that. No. And he fouled. Like,
terrible refereeing.
Yeah, I could completely agree with you. Okay, and the other bit of good news from which was leaked out by Fabrizio Romano, who, let's be honest, is hit and miss sometimes. We don't know whether there's any truth behind it, but if you believe what he put out today, and he's normally pretty good. Discussions, there you go, on screen. Thank you, Nigel. Discussions are now underway between the club and the manager about future plans. It includes budget for the summer and more. And also over a new contract with Oliver Glasner. we've talked about pivotal players. We've talked about how the team are performing. Jim, what would it take, do you think, to keep him? And bear in mind, if you think about a couple of teams like Spurs are likely to make a change this season at some point. Some of the bigger clubs, or so-called bigger clubs, are going to make a change. Would you throw the book at this bloke?
Well, I would probably pay him more than he's getting now, but I don't think it works that way with Palace. I think they're very organised in what they pay, and I would think his biggest thing will be what sort of budget he gets and how many players he can bring in, more than what he's earning. I think these top managers worry too much about that. He might be looking at some of the top teams if he wanted to go there. I don't know. I mean, the job he's done has been unbelievable, but I would say his budget and what sort of player he can bring in will determine whether he stays. I can't see him going, but would determine what he does at the end of the year.
Thank you, Fergus. I'm coming to you now. You say you can't see him going, Jim, but that guy is clearly ambitious. He's in it to win trophies. If there is that obviously that rules out Tottenham. I mean, I know that, but if a potential Champions League team would come in for him, I know that's quite amusing for you, wouldn't it? You all smile when I said that. But if a top 6 team were to come in, he'd go, wouldn't he?
Don't know. You need to ask him that. Whatever we say, we're just guessing, aren't we? Of
course. Ferg, you were going to say something?
Well, one, hopefully by the end of the season, we'll be a top 10 Premier League side, so you'll want to stay. But I think Palace are doing it the right way around. If they secure Glasner for another 2-3 years, all the players are going to be on board. Then they can go to your Whartons, your Matetas, whoever they want to keep, and they can say, Glasner's committed for the next 3 years. We've got a really good thing going here. Sign a new contract. That's what I'm hoping. So they get Glasner done, get him over the line, and then hopefully everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, how important is it to keep hold of him?
Well, I think it's really important. I think one of the ways of doing that might be to keep some of the players that we've got as well. Obviously, I doubt he'll want to get rid of our best players just to bring others in. So hopefully, like Ferg says, if we keep hold of him, that will keep hold of some of the players, and then we can carry on with the momentum we've got.
Yeah, and I'll make you right, and maybe 1 or 2 additions to that squad as well. Nigel, do we need much more in the way of squad depth?
It depends who we let go, doesn't it? So we've got young Essays come from Millwall. Would he sort of start stepping up into the squad? But I was wondering sort of before Saturday whether Dilap, if Ipswich go down, is a possibility. But he didn't have a wonderful game Saturday against us. So.
Yeah, okay, good point. Okay, let's talk about upcoming fixtures, because I know there's one that you won't have on your little slide that you're about to put up, Nigel. Pop your slide on there. So upcoming, and you haven't got it on there. For those that you don't know, Crystal Palace are playing against Norwegian side HamKam in Spain this week. It's Thursday, the 13th, 3 o'clock kickoff, and you can, I believe, watch it on the Palace website. And as you can see on there, our upcoming fixtures, we have a little matter of FA Cup quarter-final away at Craven Cottage on Saturday the 29th, 12:15 kickoff. I will be there. Come and say hello if you're in the ground, and we bump into each other. Come and say hello. Southampton away, which is on Wednesday, the 2nd of April, quarter-to-8 kickoff. Then we're at home to that lot down to the South Coast. I'm amazed that they've kept that as a Saturday fixture, by the way, the Brighton game. I'm absolutely... They've kept that as the 3 o'clock kick on Saturday the 5th, but they have. 12:30 on the 12th of April, we're away at Man City in the Premier League. That'll be a tough fixture, but they are not the invincible team they were not so long ago. They have got mistakes in them. They are now beatable, as has been proved very recently. Equally, Newcastle. I mean, I think our biggest threat out of all those 6 fixtures there is the Bournemouth game, but Newcastle, again, hot and cold. Yeah, there is a mistake in them. They do play well at home. They are strong. That's on Wednesday, the 16th of April at 7:30. And then on my birthday is Crystal Palace at home to Bournemouth, Saturday the 19th. So, guys, out of those fixtures, how are we going to get out? Let's do the obvious one. And I know what you're all going to say. Jim, we'll start with you. The FA Cup quarter-final.
Yeah, win.
Any prediction?
1-0.
In the chat, what do you think in the chat? Let me know now. I want to know the result, please. Your thought process. I know you're all biased. Put your sensible heads on that there. How are we going to get on the way at Craven Cottage in the chat? Nigel.
2-1
Is that a home win?
to Palace.
You didn't say that. It's 1-2.
Sorry, 1-2.
Mate, we're making allowances for your age. It's not a problem, okay? Yes. If you could take your love heart off for Jim Cannon, can I have your prediction for the Fulham game, please?
I was going to say the same as Nigel. I'll change it to 1-3.
1-3. Oh, blimey. Okay. In the chat, Tom Clark Samuel saying 1-3 as well. JP, Sarr and Eze. Mary saying 2-1 to us. Damo saying 2-1. Nathan saying 2-1 as well. John Knox is saying 3-1. Animal saying 2-0. Animal's deleted his comment already. And Paul PR66 is saying 2-0 to Fulham. Ferg, your thoughts?
Well, I was going to say 2-1 and then 3-1, so I'll go 2-0 Palace.
And I'm
a win for Palace.
I'm going to go 1-0 as well with a cheeky Matessa win. Talking about Tom Clark Samuel, who's out in the chat. Good evening, Tom. I hope you're well, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't follow us on Twitter and don't follow us on Instagram, please do so. Like, share, or follow. Here's our Instagram address right now. Bang on Q, Nigel. red_and_blue_review. Please give him a like, share, or follow. He's growing that Instagram account massively. Tom, you're doing a cracking job, mucker. You can always follow us on Twitter or X at red_blue_review. Get on there and say hello. Say hello to Ian Noble, because Lord Noble looks after that account. Nice. When's our next show?
We are day after Fulham.
Day after the Fulham game. And I think, I'm not sure yet, that Noble will be back for that. I know he's sailing back. I know he's on the Townsend, Torrance and Herald and Free Enterprise at the moment. But I think he's back.
Apparently he's packing the budgie smugglers into the case tonight.
Oh, there's a thought. There's a thought. Okay, so we will be returning on Sunday, the 30th of March at 8 o'clock. Jim, great to see you, mate. Thank you as always. Thank you for the laughter. The show is, we love having you on, mate. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, no problem. Nice to
All
see
right,
you all.
Ferg, Yaz, as always, thank you for your support. And Ferg, don't leave it so long. Get yourself, and I've sent you the link to that, to the old spreadsheet, haven't I?
Yeah, I think I'm down for the Fulham game.
Good. Okay. And Croucher, we can't do it without you, man. As proved last weekend. As you proved last weekend, we can't do it without you, silly old bugger. Lovely to see you at the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, out on Facebook and YouTube land, wherever you're watching or listening in the world, thank you for joining us. Sounds like Jim's dinner's on the tables. I can hear the plates rattling in the background. So I'm going to sign off there.
Not mine.
I wish you all well. On behalf of me and the rest of this bunch of reprobates, I wish you well. Take care. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. At the Palace.